Hello and welcome to the Alter Aeon June 2024 update. I am Shadowfax, the voice of Alter Aeon. Within the month of June, we mark the astronomical start of summer with a game-wide annual event which we call the Summer Solstice Celebration. This year's will be the 12th such event. Currently, I'm planning to start the event on Friday, June 21st, and end it on Thursday, July 4th. That would give 2 weeks, with 2 weekends to attempt the quest challenges. However, I make this announcement with a caveat that details are subject to change. More on that later. We will be reopening both the Puzzlewood and Starving Rock zones for the event. For those of you unfamiliar, the Puzzlewood is a high-level area intended to be completed by large groups where players are pitted against waves of monsters that increase in strength with each successive wave. Starving Rock is an auto-leveling zone where players try to kill as many monsters as possible and can be completed at any level. We'll also be releasing another area, Castle Ket. This area is located on Cordan, but it will be an auto-leveling zone for the duration of the event. Meanwhile, Drock reports that he should have a Warpaint skill for the Warrior class, and a new level 40 area in Western Saboria called the Cauldron finished in time for the event. Morpheus says that he continues to work on Port Crimsonia, which will be a large city on Romanek. Last month, Drock made some updates on how the bleeding effect works in preparation for Warpaints. Living creatures can spontaneously start bleeding if they take enough damage in a short amount of time from pointed or edged attacks. Additional tweaks involve changing skills from having a certain percentage chance to start bleeding each hit to giving them a cumulative chance to start bleeding over multiple hits. Bleeding can still be started like normal from skills like Blood-Slitting Stab or Moliné. Sustained fire damage can start people on fire sometimes. Fire God approves of this. It is not as powerful as Fire Web or Flame Strike, but still fun. There is a new debuff, Crippled, primarily inflicted by blunt damage attacks and, to a lesser degree, edged damage attacks. Crippled characters will experience a persistent drain on movement. Certain skills, such as Crippling Strike, can instantly cripple opponents. The Defile skill was added for Druids, which allows them to drain resources from a room and convert them into additional cast level for spells. A new object type was added called Focus. A rough spellcasting analog of the weapon type, a Focus adds damage to most damaging spells based on its level. Kinda reminds me of held items by Pokemon. The purpose of adding focus objects was to make held objects relevant compared to two-handed weapons and shields, and to help spellcasting damage scale at high levels when cast level can no longer come into play. Currently in hit roll, dam roll, attacks and weapon speed and damage can be increased on objects all the way up to 174 total levels, but spell damage is dependent on cast level, which can't be increased beyond plus 16. Common foci include druidic totems, lapidary orbs, forged scepters, and wood-crafted canes. Certain crafted items have been retconned to become focus type. I'll be adding another object type called instrument. For the time being, it is primarily a decorative element, but musical instruments will play a role for a skill or two planned for the far future, either as obscure skills for the Thief class or a forthcoming bonus class. So I had said that the details of the event are subject to change. It largely depends on what I can get done in what time I have. My life now is different than it was this time last year. Last June, I worked 33 hours a week primarily doing an auxiliary mail route. Now, I have a full-time, 42-hour-a-week route. My kids are very active, participating in 4-H, baseball, and reading camp. Littlefax has emerging interests in fishing, raising chickens, and archery, which require a lot of instruction and supervision. I also have Tinyfax's birthday next weekend, and need to plan something for my brother's birthday in a couple of weeks as well. Those of you who have played for a long time may remember when I first started doing events, they were during the winter. As I began working more at the post office, it became clear that Christmas time was going to be the busiest time of year for me. So it made sense to start doing events during the summer when the workload was the least. However, given the aforementioned circumstances, I may have to rethink that strategy going forward. I mean, it took me 2 weeks just to get this update done. I'm just saying that expectations need to be managed, and I appreciate your understanding.